The benchmark indices opened at their fresh lifetime highs on Monday, continuing their gaining streak for the fifth consecutive session. This is the run that began with the exit poll numbers. The BJP has secured majorities in the Hindi heartland states of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh, which strengthens its position as the dominant party in North India. So, what's driving this market rally? What does India's next decade of growth look like? Hello and a very warm welcome to Money Control. I am Shweta Punj. Now, just to give you all perspective, on 18th May in 2018, the Nifty had opened actually was actually down 0.81% and Sensex fell 0.86%, and that day FIS sold around $59 million. This was the time when the BJP lost control of the Hindi heartland states. So very crucial for us to understand what these elections mean for 2024 and what are the political implications, which freebies worked and which did. To understand the road ahead for 2024 and what does this mean for brand Modi and brand Rahul Gandhi, I have with me Mr. Sanjay Kumar of CSDS, Mr. Sunil Alagh, Mr. Rajeev Gowda, Nalin Mehta, and Ashwani Mahajan. Thank you so much for joining us on Money Control. Let me begin by bringing Nalin in. Nalin, fantastic opening to the markets today, and there is only optimism that going forward we are going to see this optimism only grow.
Yeah, I think the markets are sending a message. Essentially, what we saw yesterday, and that's what all the papers are saying today as well, is that the scale of the BJP victories in the Hindi heartland, and it's not just the victories, it's not just the score 3-1, it's the scale and the manner of the victories in the Hindi heartland. Even though the Congress won Telangana, which was an important victory, it is kind of telling you something about the 2024 election, and the markets are interpreting this as a signal of stability, that at the moment the BJP is pretty much in pole position for 2024. See, normally state assembly elections are often not a weather vane for Lok Sabha elections. In the last elections, for example, the BJP had lost all these elections and it swept these states in 2024. But the reason why these elections were important was because at a time when Rahul Gandhi seemed resurgent, at a time when the Congress seemed to be getting its act together, they just won Karnataka, at a time when the India alliance was being put together, the stakes were much higher for the Congress in these polls than for the BJP. But the fact that it completely suffered such a defeat in the Hindi heartland, it kind of tells you that the BJP's electoral machinery remains absolutely fighting fit. Brand Modi remains absolutely impregnable, and the Congress is unable to make headway in direct head-to-head contact with the BJP in North India. So that's what the markets are reacting to that.
Right. Professor Gowda, a humbling day for you yesterday, or is Telangana giving you enough to cheer about?
Well, Telangana is certainly a tremendous victory for us because we were, everyone wrote us off even as recently as 2-3 months ago. But it's clear that the people of Telangana have reposed very significant faith in the party that made Telangana come alive as a state. And it's also a very important signal to markets and everyone else because it points to, after Karnataka, which is sort of at the forefront of India's high-tech economy, the global markets, everyone looks at Bangalore and Karnataka as something that's very cutting edge. After Bangalore, it's Hyderabad and Telangana. And so the fact that the Congress and the people are reposing trust in the Congress to lead the highest tech states and which have the very significant global presence tells us a lot about the faith that the people have in the leadership of the Congress to take us forward in dimensions that are extraordinarily important in terms of export revenues, in terms of innovation and growth and job creation, etc. So this is a very positive signal, what we're seeing from Telangana.
Okay, no, I love your optimism. We have Sanjay Kumar back with us. Sanjay ji, very quickly, you were bang on when it comes to the results that you were expecting to see. So I want to get a sense from you on what are the political implications of this. What does this mean for the BJP? What does this mean for 2024? And what does this mean for the Congress Party? These results.
Uh, Shweta, for 2024 results and for BJP and for Congress, there is a connection between all the three things. For the Congress, uh, if Congress has registered a victory in at least one or two more states, at least in one state, that would have given Congress greater confidence, greater morale boost for going into 2024 election. But this defeat has again emphasized the point, or indicated that Congress is finding it difficult to challenge the BJP in the Hindi heartland state, because the Congress managed to lose all the three states with a decent margin. So it would be, the Congress would find it difficult to boost the morale of the party workers. The voters on the ground will have little faith that Congress is going to be the challenger to BJP in 2024. We were all discussing what would be the implication of 2023 for 2024, in anticipation that Congress might be able to win three states. Congress will be able to form government in three states. And then there was a possibility that there would be a resurgence of the Congress even for the 2024 election. So that possibility is almost out, because Congress managed to win only in Telangana. For BJP was already looking strong for 2024 election. Now it looks much more stronger.
So, Sanjay, I want to ask you, and this is my question for Professor Gowda, Nalin, and Ashwani ji. A strong opposition is very, very important. How do these results alter that dynamics? What does it mean for Congress's position in the India alliance? And will the BJP have a free run in the run up to 2024, because there will not be an opposition to counter anything that the BJP is putting out there? Professor Gowda, sorry, go on, Sanjay ji.
No, I was saying, this defeat is over now. The Congress got defeated in three states. But still, if India Alliance is able to put its acts together, come up with a seat-sharing arrangement where India Alliance is able to put up one candidate against BJP in at least 300 seats, 280, 250 seats, still there would be some challenge for the BJP in 2024. I'm saying still a challenge. I'm not saying that this strategy is going to defeat the BJP. But imagine a situation on the other side. If India Alliance is not able to work out a seat-sharing arrangement, I think then it's going to be a free run for BJP in 2024.
Professor Gowda, would you like to come in here? Any introspection that's happening? Are you going back to the drawing board? Are you reassessing where you went wrong?
So there are two aspects here, right? One is the Congress and what happened yesterday. And then there is the India Alliance. When you think about that larger India Alliance, remember that the India Alliance runs many large populous states, and which return a large number of members of parliament to the Lok Sabha. So the basic point is, and the other point to note here is that the Congress's vote share has not changed. What you've seen in this state assembly polls is that the share that used to go to the BSP and to others has gone towards the BJP. So that's the part that is something for us to focus on. This is something that we need to work on, what it is that would attract those sections of the population that are not core BJP voters but have gone with the BJP this time. So that's one dimension of it. The other is when you look at where the BJP did reasonably well last time, say a state like Bengal, they got 18 seats. I would think that it would be very, very difficult for them to repeat even double figures there. So in Maharashtra, there is a situation where the BJP has conjured up a government. But the fact of the matter is that the resentment against them in a very large state like Maharashtra is very strong. Karnataka, they won 25 out of 28 Lok Sabha seats last time. I do not see them, even after yesterday's results, coming anywhere close to even half of that, right? So basically, what I'm pointing out is that this is, just that attrition across every state that the BJP does not dominate is going to add up to a situation where the Prime Minister Modi is not going to get a majority on his own. So,
Okay, all right. Okay. We'll hold that thought. We have Mr. Sunil Alagh finally with us. Mr. Alagh, can you hear us clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly now.
Okay, lovely. Great. Thank you. So, we were talking about the political implications of what happened yesterday and what does this mean for 2024. I want you to wear your branding hat on and tell us, what did this election do for brand Modi and brand Rahul?
See, I am not so much on branding because the ones who won are the winners and the ones who lost are the losers, regardless of what the Congress might say on vote share and BJP might work. They've lost badly. As far as I'm concerned, so has Telangana been lost. As far as BJP is concerned, they will talk about 1 seat earlier, now 8 seats. Where are they now is the question, because in the south, to say that you've got Karnataka and you've got Telangana is not the same as having Tamil Nadu and having Kerala. So you've got 2 states in the south for Congress. See, look, all investors will look for, why has the shares gone up? Because they are looking for stability. And Modi has provided that stability. That's all they want. It doesn't matter whether you call it a dictatorship or you call it democracy, whatever it is, but they look for stability where they invest. And all in domestic investors as well as foreign investors will look for that.
Right.
And that's where we will stand. As far as politically, that's what economically, no matter what anybody might say, the money will flow into the country because they are spending on infrastructure, and that's where BJP will continue to spend, and therefore there'll be no change in the policies that the BJP has done, which expected whenever anybody else comes in, they would have changed the policies, no?
Right. That's probably what was driving the markets today. Let me go across to Ashwani Mahajan ji of the Swadeshi Jagran Manch. When the BJP came into power 10 years ago, nearly 10 years ago, there was this concern that the Swadeshi Jagran Manch will hold the BJP back from opening up the economy further. And now currently where we are today, the economy is more open than it has ever been, Ashwani ji. So I want to get a perspective from you. In the run up to 2024, we have seen the discourse is increasingly shifting towards welfare policies. Do we see that accelerating in the run up to 2024, or will the BJP continue to hold on to the path of fiscal prudence?
Shweta, I won't agree with you that the government is opening more and more. In fact, if you look at the policies in the last 3-4 years, the government's approach has been more towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. And this Atmanirbhar Bharat is very.
So we've done that while we've opened up several sectors to FDI also.
That's a different story altogether. Yes, we have been opening up of the different sectors is an ongoing process. But so far as the ideology of our organization is concerned, it's very clear that we have been for giving more incentives and more encouragement to the domestic economy and the domestic industry, and that the government has been doing for the last 3-4 years after the realization that during COVID we didn't have even the face mask for us, the PPE kits or medical equipment, so whatever you can think of, and therefore it is this government has ultimately followed that path whereby we are trying to make our economy more and more self-dependent. I'm not saying self-reliant. I'm not saying the self-sufficient. It is more and more self-dependent, and this realization and the self-confidence of the economy and the people at large is also getting manifested in many ways. And if you see the latest figures of the GDP growth, we find, and this is a this is very unique and very significant that this quarter and in the last quarter, there has been a significant growth in the manufacturing, and that is all the result of the production-linked incentive schemes and all other efforts being made by the government towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. This is very, very clear, and therefore saying that this government has been going more and more opening up. They walked out of our CEP and many other things I can quote here. And in fact, you are saying something different from what others are saying and what others are actually complaining about this government. That this government is going away from the globalization. This is one thing. Second point is about what my predecessors have already said, that this is most going towards stability, and investors obviously would like stability to be there, and that is the reason why markets are behaving in this manner as you see. But from where this stability is coming, we must understand it is actually what we call the Modi image or Modi brand. That is obviously there. But what Modi brand means? Modi brand doesn't mean his face, his road shows or his speeches. Modi brand means the kind of inclusive policies which the Modi government have adopted, and that is going deep into the interiors of this country. If you see 3 crore houses already built, 1 crore are in pipeline. So you understand the kind of implication that is having in the rural areas and in the slums. Secondly, Ujjwala scheme, 10 crore LPG connections is not a small thing. And then Har Ghar Jal Se Nal Se Jal. So that is something which is revolutionizing the whole rural areas. And
right, Ashwani ji. I'd like to bring in my colleague Nalin on this. Nalin, yesterday also we had this conversation around, we had a Congress spokesperson say that this was a vote for Hindutva. What does your analysis say? Is this a vote for Hindutva, or is this a vote for development? Because like Ashwani ji was pointing out, we've seen electricity connections, Har Ghar Nal, you've got the housing scheme. So there has been very effective and targeted delivery of a lot of basics that Indians have clearly voted for.
I don't see this as a vote for Hindutva by itself. In fact, and I think there are very specific local reasons why this happened. The commonality is brand Modi. Look, in Madhya Pradesh, the BJP does have a very strong structure and so on. But in the past, you look at the vote share difference, 8%. I think this is a vote in favor of a party that voters believe can deliver versus a party that they don't think can deliver. I think as far as welfare politics is concerned, every party is promising pretty much the same thing. If you look
That's
at
right.
both BJP and the Congress, even though the BJP started the Ravery debate, every party is now out competing each other for pretty much the same thing. In Madhya Pradesh, for example, the BJP started the Ladli Behna scheme, the Congress matched it with something else. So this is not just about welfareism. I think there are two things now. In Indian politics, no party can afford to be seen as anti-Hindu now. And by the way, we saw this, and I'm saying perceived as anti. We saw this with the Congress in Rajasthan, in Chhattisgarh, and in Madhya Pradesh with the promises of the Ram Gaman Yatra and all of that. And I think welfareism is something every party also has to do.
Right.
Who the voter chooses out of the with these preconditions depends really on the momentum, the emotion, and who they see as trustworthy at that point of time, and that's also subject to local conditions. There was different conditions in Chhattisgarh, in Madhya Pradesh, and in Rajasthan, but at this point in time, in the Congress campaign didn't work there. In Telangana, it worked. Within Telangana, the Congress became the party of the anti-establishment. So everybody, who wanted to get rid of BRS after 10 years of incumbency. They came to the Congress. I mean, Rajeev would bear this out. After the Karnataka election, there were so many defections to the Congress because the Congress suddenly looked like the party that can win an election. So the Karnataka election had a huge knock-on effect with Telangana as well.
Right. Sanjay ji, I'd like you to come in here, and also Rajeev, like Nalin said, that every political party is offering freebies. Why is it that the guarantees worked in Karnataka but did not work in Rajasthan? Sanjay ji, any insights on that? What was really brewing on ground? Why is it that Mr. Gehlot's many promises were not able to cut ice with the voters there?
Shweta, from the surveys which we conducted, the post-poll survey, we got a sense that generally there is a satisfaction with the performance of state government. It's not that there is a huge dissatisfaction with the central government, and that explains why Congress managed to retain 40% votes in Chhattisgarh. They got 40% votes even in Chhattisgarh, even in Madhya Pradesh and in Rajasthan. But at the same time, what seems to be happening is that people's satisfaction with the central government is slightly higher than satisfaction with the state government. Also, if you look at the satisfaction level with Prime Minister Modi, or the confidence people show in Prime Minister Modi, that's very high. If you contrast with Karnataka, so Karnataka is not a state; it's not a Hindi-speaking state, and their prime ministers connect with the masses is not as good, at least from the surveys which we get, as good as it is in the Hindi heartland state. So when we are talking about the schemes, it's not that schemes are not only with the scheme you can win election. Scheme is just an icing on the cake. But if you look at the BJP's vote share, BJP has managed to increase. So it's not that Congress schemes did not go well in the minds of the people. Yes, but schemes have a limited effect. It cannot only with the schemes and with the basic support base of party. Yes, Congress managed to get 40% vote. But what the advantage BJP had, BJP also made promises, but the advantage BJP had over Congress was that the promises were being met by Prime Minister Modi himself. His promises has had a more impact or more faith of the people. It carried more faith among the people, and that is why BJP managed to get votes of the small regional parties. If you look at the vote share of the regional party and the others in all these states, they have just declined, and all the benefit has gone to the BJP.
Rajeev Gowda, I'd like you to come in on this. Like I said, that Karnataka offered guarantees. Congress was voted into power. Rajasthan, the same story. So, is it the delivery of schemes that did not work? Because what's been Congress's assessment on this?
So in Karnataka, it was also a rejection of a very corrupt and ineffective BJP government, along with the schemes that we offered, the 5 guarantees in Karnataka. In Rajasthan, we must basically, I think we are reverting to the standard pattern of changing a government every time, because it is not a question of promises. Gehlot had actually delivered. He had implemented the Chiranjeevi's insurance scheme. He had implemented an urban work guarantee scheme. He had, the whole work program for gig workers. Lots of things that were already in place, and OPS had also been implemented. So it wasn't a question of, are you not delivering? And if you look at the satisfaction that people had with him as chief minister, that was also fairly significant. So what I'm trying to say is there's some underlying pattern that happens in that state.
Rajeev, I just want you to weigh in on this. Going forward in the run up to 2024, so clearly the BJP made this a Prime Minister Modi against the state leader, whichever leader was in the state. That was the campaign. What is going to be Congress's strategy going forward? Is there going to be a rethink? Are you going to be projecting like a central leader versus, will you promise something like a double engine ki sarkar, something on those lines? Will there be a rethink?
See, what we need to do is focus on who is not doing well in the current economy, right? And if you look at all these market reactions that has triggered this discussion, there's a big disconnect between markets and what happens in the country. I'll just take 2, 3 points, right? One, this concern about continuity, right? When Prime Minister Modi was elected in 2014, he had come in opposing something like the GST. He then reversed course and implemented the GST. Remember, in general, across governments, we've had economic continuity. We've not had any dramatic changes. And Mr. Alagh mentioned that the market would happily vote for a dictator if if it guarantees stability. So those of us who are Democrats, need to be careful about what
Mr.
markets
Alagh,
want.
would you like to come in here? Would you like
No,
to
no, no.
come
Let
in
me
on this?
finish. Let me
Yeah,
finish,
yeah.
Shweta.
Yes,
Let
yes,
me finish.
yes.
So basically, what you're asking about what the Congress should focus on. At the same time as all this rah-rah stuff, you have the government announcing food security for 5 years more for 83 crore people. Okay, so the fastest growing economy also has 83 crore people who cannot feed themselves, right? A majority of the population need help in having food daily. That's the problem. That's the reality of India under Prime Minister Modi and his brand. Okay, so the basic point is, this is a K-shaped recovery, and there are large numbers of people who are falling behind, and those are the people that we're going to reach out to and say, look, we need to do better. When you talk about programs like Ujjwala, it was all very well for the first cylinder. After that, how many people were able to even buy another cylinder, given how high the rates were kept by the government, just swallowing up more and more tax revenues from, even when crude oil prices were low. So these are all these are complicated stories, and different states, as Nalin has pointed out, have had different outcomes. But we certainly are, massively disappointed. Yeah.
Sure. Mr. Alagh, if I could get you in on this, you said that, that businesses want stability, which is a fair point. Now, in the run up to 2024, what are your concerns? I mean, is there a worry that the BJP also might go the populist way? We have an interim budget just about a month away. And, if you were to set an agenda for the new government, what are the key reforms, according to you, should the new government be focusing on?
See, look, when I use the word, I know Mr. Modi, I'm not a party, I'm not a BJP member or a Congress member or anybody, like what you've said right now. But look, as far as I'm concerned, today, everyone is talking about Mr. Modi because he executes. He takes all the policies, regardless of whether it took 10 years or 15 years or 20 years beforehand. It was discussed 20 years ago, but he's brought it in and he's a great executor. So he executes whatever he says. There are two states, if you look at it statistically in India, two states only. One is Rajasthan and one is Karnataka. They always vote somebody out and they bring in somebody else. Only two states. And I've predicted that Rajasthan maybe is for that reason and Karnataka is for that reason. But look, to great joy that out of the whole thing, because they don't have a leader. At least you have one leader who's executing. And whenever you meet Mr. Modi, he turns around and says the poor in the country have to be looked after well before the rich and the middle class. Now, he's bringing up the poor first, and therefore he is going to execute infra projects, actually has labor involved. And people carry, and where on earth have infra projects gone? Actually, Mr. Modi is executing it all along. And somebody might say, no, we thought of roads earlier, we thought of airports earlier. You thought of it, but he's the executor. And therefore, today, what we want him to do is to continue executing and bring in new policies which are adding to what he's already done. And therefore, the poor will be lifted, there'll be more labor, and everybody, inflation will be controlled, and that's what we want. Look, no matter what.
Fair enough. If you could just hold on to that thought, Mr. Alagh, controlling inflation, very, very important. And I do want to talk about what's at stake for the common man with this election and with these results. Mr. Mahajan, this morning, my mother was very happy looking at the Sensex rising. She said her mutual fund will do very well today. And that's a barometer, right? So I want to understand, that when, with BJP and its policies, What's in it for the common man? You're talking about roads, you're talking about focus on infrastructure, you're also talking about focusing on manufacturing at a time when exports overall and economies around the world are struggling. And there is a concern that IT services exports, which is a big employer in the country, they have taken a hit. This is probably the first time that Infosys has not gone in for campus hiring. So, what should the common man take away from these results, according to you, Mr. Mahajan?
See, if where these countries like US and European countries, they had never heard of the kind of inflation which they are facing now. But India has been able to keep the prices under check for two reasons. One is by controlling the fuel inflation. The other is by food inflation. And fuel inflation is purely because of the independent foreign policy of the government. And so far as the food inflation is concerned, Rajeev ji was saying that 83 crores people still need food. In fact, what I understand from the markets is that actually these people, those who are getting food, that this particular fact is keeping the prices of the food lower, and that is helping the common man and also the overall economy to boost. Because if you are able to keep inflation under check, the whole world is facing the problem of high rate of interest. But we in India can hope to reduce even further our rates of interest because of our inflation under check. And therefore, we are asking about the common man. Inflation is something which affects the common man, whether it is rich, middle class, or the poor class. Poor class is even more affected. And so far as the economy is concerned, the Modi brand means, talking about the Vikasit Bharat, about taking the economy by within 2.5 years to the Germany's level and surpassing Germany and making India third largest economy of the world. These things, when in the last few decades we had been thinking of most fragile economy and things like that. This gives us a moral boost to the common man. Yes, we can become the Vikasit Bharat and developed country of the world. So this particular inspiration also aligns people at large with the Modi.
All right. Okay. Very quickly, closing comments. Nalin, your projections for 2024. One big thing that we should watch out for the 2024 elections.
I'm not sure about projections, but I think we should really wait and see what happens with the India alliance, because a lot will depend on whether they can get the seat, like Sanjay was saying earlier in the program, if they can get the seat sharing for as many seats as possible, right or not, and a lot of negotiation and so on has to happen with that. And the results of yesterday also have an impact on that for two reasons. One, because I think it will reduce the bargaining power of the Congress. Secondly, I think we are seeing another trend that of a Muslim consolidation behind the Congress. In Telangana, we saw that in Muslim majority seats, the Muslim vote shifted from BRS to the Congress. We saw that in Karnataka as well with the JDS to the Congress. Now, Akhilesh Yadav and Mamta would be watching that very carefully. So wherever the Congress looks like a seat, like a party that can win, we are seeing a trend of Muslim voters shifting from the regional party concern to the Congress. Now, these are all kind of so I think that does have an impact on seat sharing and internal dynamics within the Congress, within the India alliance. But apart from that, at this moment, for sure, there's no question about it that the BJP and Narendra Modi are significantly in the pole position after yesterday's results. See, Mr. Modi was metaphorically on the ticket in 3 states. It was a gamble by the BJP to use the whole thing around Modi's guarantee and so on. It had 2 satraps in Rajasthan, in Vasundhara Raje in Rajasthan and Shivraj Singh Chauhan in Madhya Pradesh. They didn't put them on the CM's ticket. And in Chhattisgarh, they didn't have any regional leader of note. So Mr. Modi put himself out there. And there was a lot of talk that the Modi magic won't work in the Vidhan Sabha elections, particularly after Karnataka and after Himachal in the past. So in that sense, if the BJP could deliver this result in the Hindi heartland with Modi metaphorically on the ticket, imagine this, how uphill the battle is for the Congress in these states with Modi literally on the ticket. So in that sense, I think the
Right.
BJP is well ahead at this moment.
Right. Mr. Alagh, what's the one thing that you'll be watching out for in the run up to 2024?
See, the voter has become very intelligent. He votes for the party he likes in the state, and when it comes to the center, he votes. For instance, like take West Bengal, they voted Mamata Banerjee in as chief minister, but they gave about 18 or 19 seats in Lok Sabha to Mr. Modi. So they have become very intelligent, very knowledgeable now, and I expect that in the coming months that they will vote as per what do they want in the center, and that's where I see them coming in. I see BJP coming in right on top because they will vote. The people are becoming very intelligent. They will take all the freebies that have been given to them, like laptops and this and the other, take it, but they vote for the person they want. And I can't see anybody else coming in power because Mamata will never support the CPM. And no matter what anyone talks about the India alliance, look, Mamata supporting the CPM, she knows she's going to lose West Bengal. So CPM is gone out of the picture. So therefore, where is the seat sharing going to take place in the alliance? I have no clue, but Mr. Modi is the only one who will make a good prime minister.
Okay. Sanjay ji, your one thing that you're watching out for.
More or less similar to what Nalin ji has already mentioned. I think the most important thing to watch is how is India alliance going to, fold or unfold or put their act together in the next couple of months. That's going to be crucial because that is going to decide how the 2024 contest is going to be. As I said earlier, if they are able to put their act together, you still have a, contest in 2024. But if they are not able to put their act together, I think it's a free run for BJP in 2024.
Right. Rajeev ji, everyone's talking about Congress getting its act together. Can you name your number one priority in the run up to 2024?
Getting our India coalition act together would be the number one priority. And the second point I want to make actually is that imagine if the Congress had won these states yesterday, right? What would all of you have said? You would have said these are state elections, they don't imply anything for the national election, etc. I am going to make that point here. These are state elections. The national election is a different ballgame altogether.
Okay, all right. Ashwani ji, closing comments to you in terms of the economy. What can we expect? Any big bang announcements in the interim budget?
I don't see that because the Modi brand doesn't believe in giving freebies or like that. In fact, what I expect is that this and what I feel that these elections are rejection to the freebies and yes to the inclusive policies. And I think this is something which is going to be the big factor in 24 elections, general elections, because people at large, basically women and men on the street, they feel secure and see and become aspiring towards becoming a developed country by 47. And these are something, as I've already said, but in keeping inflation under check, this has been a big achievement of this government. Right?
It's going to continue to be a priority for the government, keeping
Yeah,
inflation under check?
it will remain a priority. And in fact, if you see the average inflation rate during the 10 years of UPA and inflation rate, there is a big difference. 8.6% during 10 years of UPA government and hardly 5.5% in the next 10 years. So that makes all the difference. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. A big thank you to all of you who've joined us today. We've run out of time, but very fascinating insights. Of course, we'll keep tracking the India growth story right here on Moneycontrol. Thanks so much for joining us, and of course, keep tracking Moneycontrol for all updates and analysis.